All right, here we are. Another episode of Showtime with Golden Tate. And I have a very special guest for you guys today. Wife, mother, actress, special forces, badass, joining us today. But before we get there, I need to introduce you to my new secret weapon. The black man's kryptonite, the white she-devil herself. And I'm going to give you like 3 seconds to figure out what I'm referencing, and then I'll tell you. 1, 2, 3. From Undercover Brother, Denise Richards. What's up?
Thank you so much. I love that introduction. That's amazing. Thank you. I was told during the movie that I was black man's kryptonite, so thank you so much.
I mean, that movie came out, I might have been like 14. It was back, 2002. Did pretty well in box office.
2002, yeah.
Like over 40, like 40 million box office sales, like just did really well. And I probably had no business watching it, but I definitely did. And I laughed my tail off. So, I've known about you from, I guess back in 2002 when I probably shouldn't have. But thank you so much for coming to hang out.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. Before we get into all the fun stuff, I think it's important for us to check in with you and see how things are going in California. I know that you were dealing with the fires and worried about your home. And I know we tried to link up a few weeks ago, but the timing was not right because it was chaos. Is everything settling down? Is your house okay?
Everything's okay. And thank you so much for being understanding. The day we were going to do this, everyone, it was pure chaos. It was in Los Angeles with a lot of people with the fires and everything. But everything's good, and praying for everyone going through the loss and all of that. But I'm happy to be here finally to be able to talk to you.
Oh my gosh, you're the sweetest. I tell you, you're just the sweetest. Well, I'm glad things are on the up. Have they contained those fires pretty well? Or are they still just ripping through California? Like, what's going on?
I believe they've contained them. They recently were able to open up PCH, but then they had to close it because of the rains. And, in Pacific Palisades, I think that the homeowners are able to go there and stuff, but it's incredibly devastating. I've lived in Los Angeles almost my whole adult life, and I've been through a lot of fires. I've never seen anything like this before, so it's been, it's been a bit devastating, but it's a wonderful community where I know that everyone's going to come together and, get through it.
Yeah, and exactly what we are going to pray for everyone to do. But, I know that we kind of chatted about you coming on over here to Tennessee. I think you fit in great. Can we make that happen?
Thank you.
Is that actually something that might happen?
Yes,
okay.
For real. My husband and I, we definitely want to move out of California.
Okay.
I'm going to wait because there's a plane and I don't know how good sound is. Hang on. I'm just going to wait a second, if that's okay.
Great. Yeah, I don't hear anything, but take your time, sis.
I'll just do it. Let's do it, brother. Okay, so my husband and I, we definitely were ready to move out of California, make a change. And my dad, his sister-in-law has lived in an area outside of Nashville for over 30 years. And my husband and I, we went to look at the area and everything and look at houses. And, we definitely want to move to Nashville, outside of Nashville, like a little suburb out of there. And I want to have quite a few acres. I love animals. I want to have a farm. He and I are going to have to compromise on that because he doesn't want a farm. But if I have acreage and can have my chickens and have some animals, then I'll be good with that.
There you go. I tell you what, there's nothing like some nice home hatched organic eggs. Like we
Right?
get those and they just taste different. They taste better. They taste different. And we have a few homies that have like little farms and chicken coops, and we go get a dozen eggs from them. And gosh, there's some good eggs right there, I tell you.
If I could do it all over again, I would have moved my older daughters outside of California and raised them. I grew up in Illinois, a small town outside of Chicago. And I'm so grateful that I had that childhood. And I always said, oh no, it's what you make of your home. But there is something to be said about the environment too. And, pre-COVID, I always felt like I had to live in Los Angeles or New York for my career. But I think that things have changed a lot where we can do Zooms and we can have a job in outside of, those two cities. So it's allowed a lot of wonderful also job opportunities too that way.
Amazing. Well, we welcome you with open arms to old
Thank you.
Tennessee.
Maybe we'll be your neighbor. I would love that.
Come on, come get country with me.
Oh, I would love it.
Let's go. I can see you rocking some cowgirl boots and a nice hat. You got the look for it.
Yes. I would
Yes.
totally have cows and sheep and goats and my older daughters too, they love animals. They want horses.
Perfect.
So, and my youngest daughter, she loves ponies and horses. So we are definitely moving there. We just don't know when. We want to find the right place.
Yeah. Well, I'll
So
help
we'll
you with
call
that.
you.
I will help you with that. Okay, so you got some big news that's been announced. March 4th is the big day that your new reality show is coming out, and is called what? Denise Richards Wild Things?
It's Denise Richards and her wild things.
And her Wild Things. Can
Yes.
you tell me more about that? And what can I expect to see?
Okay, so it's on Bravo, and the Alex Baskin, who I met through how I did 2 seasons of Housewives of Beverly Hills, and so he and I are producing this together, and I'm so excited about it. And it's a family reality show, and which was a big decision for my family. It wasn't something that we just were like, oh yeah, we'll do it. There was lots of conversations with my oldest daughters are 20 and 19 years old. My youngest is 13. She's special needs. So the older ones were very much having, I wanted to make sure that they were going to be okay doing a show because it's a big responsibility. So it's a family reality show. It's crazy. There's a lot of people will recognize a lot of people from the Bravo network and some of my friends from there. My ex-husband, Charlie Sheen, he makes a little appearance. And it's just a fun, we're just a crazy family,
That's awesome.
blended family.
I love it. So I watched like the sizzle or the trailer of it, and it looks like I'm going to laugh a lot. And it looks like a lot of just fun and unfilteredness and exactly what I like to see. And, what are you hoping that people are going to see about you and the
I don't
dynamic of your
know.
family?
I'll tell you this, Golden, and this we're going to get into with Special Forces, because the conversations I feel that we had, going to our tasks in the back of the vehicles are the things that I wish that they showed more of. With our show, the one thing I will say, we do have no filter, for better or worse. And sometimes I wish my older girls would I'm glad that they're themselves, but there are times where I'm like, oh gosh, you might not want to say that. And, but that's, the decision, and it's a hard decision doing a family show because you do put yourself out there, but I've been out there over the years for so long. I've done a reality show when my kids were younger. I've been in the tabloids for years. So I'm like, whatever, let's just do it. But it's, we don't have a lot of filters in our family.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But part of being like co-producing it, you have a say on what is going to go in there and what you want to be shown and okay with, right? So that works in your favor, right? I think
If
maybe.
there's yes, but I also have to look at, well, even if I'm not super excited about how I came off, or I have to take responsibility and look at it also as, okay, well, it's a show too. So, but, we are, I want it to be authentic and, show. I don't know why we wanted to show ourselves. We're already out there so much,
Right. Yeah.
but it was a wonderful opportunity for my daughters. They're coming of age and maybe not getting into this business, and it was just something that we decided to do as a family.
Love that. Okay. Well, I look forward to checking it out, and that transitions into my next question. Okay, so you are balancing being a mom, an actress, a wife, wearing so many hats. Like, what's the key to balancing it all and doing it well? I mean, that's a lot going on.
I don't always do it well, and I think that's the biggest thing is I try to not put pressure on myself to do it well, to be honest. And it's, especially when older girls were younger and I was going through my divorce and making decisions if what job I was going to take to be away because I would have to be on location and a lot of times. And so I think my mom, my mom passed away young, and when she passed away, my older daughters were 2 and 3 years old, and she said, and at the time I was married to Charlie Sheen, and then going through obviously a divorce, a bad one, and she would tell me, and I grew up in Illinois, and she was like, let go of the picket fence. You gotta this is your white picket fence. So, and that was one of the things I'll never forget that my mom said is that this is my normal, my job. It's different how I grew up because I so badly wanted to try to have my kids grow up how I did. Well, that's not going to happen because they grew up very different than I did. And so I think it's just always understanding I call it organized chaos, and something's
Love
always
that
got to
word.
give. And when, you're with the kids, sometimes your work, you're not able to focus, or not focus, but you know what I'm saying. That's not always in balance, or with your partner, your husband or your wife, that you're not always connected. And so I'll say for the coupleness, for my husband, I'm always an advocate of once a night a month to have a staycation where it's just he and I. And we go to a local hotel and it's just us. There's no distractions. Nothing. Even if it's just one night, where it's just us to connect and have romance and have that. And then, you know what I mean? And then you have your kid stays and this. But I think for a couple, like for us, like, if this is not solid, then shit goes sideways quickly. So, and even though Aaron, my husband, he's not Sam and Lola's dad, he's a father figure, and he's Eloise's dad, who I adopted. We're still finishing up his adoption process, but that's her dad. So it's important I feel, the children to know that the couple is together, and then, we try to balance everything else, but it is not easy, but I try to do the best I can. I try to not have guilt about it, which is hard as a
Yeah.
parent, as you know. It's
Yeah.
so hard to not feel guilty about being away, being on location, and traveling, or even taking time, even you doing that. But it's our job too. We have to provide, and also I think it's important for kids to see parents work and have a great work ethic too, because I think that helps them as they grow up.
Absolutely. And you said something that I think is really, really important in relationships, and it's especially important in relationships with those who have like children, and what I'm hearing is like you're saying once a month, at least once a month. My wife and I try to do it once a week, but try to date each other, like how
Oh,
you fell in
dating,
love, like
yeah,
it's so important, and it's good for your sanity. And like you said, also like,
it is.
man, if me and wifey aren't good, then probably our entire world is not going to be able to thrive because that
Absolutely.
tension is going to drip, come down to our children, come down to our decision making. So I
Thank
want
you.
people just to kind of like take a second to really think about that. It is important to, remember how you fell in love with your spouse and do those same things, even in the midst of
Right.
chaos of, keeping the house up, the kids work. And so thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love the once a week date. I'm talking about an overnight going somewhere, like a hotel. But if people can't afford a hotel, if you could do a staycation, like even in your room, you let your kids think you left, and the door's locked and no one can freaking get in, and you just watch movies and you're alone and you can reconnect romantically too. Or if you're able to have a friend or a relative take the kids just one night, so you have a whole night overnight, because even if you go on a date night, when you come home from the date, a lot of times you're having to still deal with the kids. But to have that whole night where there's no distractions, and even if you just cuddle and watch a movie, order room service, whatever, like that, I think it's so important for a couple and the family to know that, you know?
Absolutely. Just be intentional. And that's what I'm hearing. And that's so good that you've acknowledged that and you're able to do that. That's
And it
awesome.
sounds like you and your wife do too, which is
It's,
nice.
it's
It's
important.
important.
And sometimes those staycations and those date nights happen when we're probably not at our best and we probably don't want to be bothering each other. But every single time we force ourselves to do it, it doesn't matter how angry, upset, or on edge I am with her. I'm always thankful that we took time to connect. And not only doing that, make sure you put your phones away, like have that eye to eye
Yeah.
contact, like make sure you really connect because it's something special, man, that we have.
It is. And when that's part of having your family and staying connected. And you're right, it's not always easy, but I'm grateful too. Like there's times where I'm could be a little angry or this, but I'm so grateful that we're able to have that time too.
No doubt. Awesome. Man, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so
You're welcome.
we're going to get into like a little rapid fire questions to kind of warm us up a little bit, and then we'll get into the juiciness of other things. Special
We
forces,
have
world
to
toughest
talk though.
test.
We are going to talk, please, about special forces at some point, right?
1,000%.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you,
Oh
because you
yeah.
saved my ass.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about this. All right,
Okay,
rapid.
so let's
And,
do the rapid questions.
and some of these questions are actually going to be pretty, they're going to be associated with special forces. But before we get there,
Okay.
your three favorite movies, shows to be a part of, and why. And then it's going to circle back with another question that gets into the rapid fireness.
That I was a part of? Oh, well, gosh, I would say Starship Troopers is something, I always look at every project behind the scenes, usually, and where I was in my life too. Not necessarily what ended up on screen, but I'm always about the experience and the moments that we had. Starship Troopers was incredible because all of us actors, we were all at the pretty much the same level in our career, except for, of course, Michael Ironside and Clancy. They were big stars, but we were just starting out, and it was a 6-month shoot. We were so excited. We had such a wonderful bond, and we're all still friends. So that is a movie I'll never forget, and we're still friends. So that I will always cherish and remember. Wild Things, because it was totally the opposite experience, and very different. And for me, you know, a decision I had to make because it could have gone one way or the other in my career. It was something that was super risque. I shot it 4 months after I did Starship Troopers. And it was a complete opposite project. And I thought, okay, this is either I'll work again or I'll never work again. And thank God it was a great experience in doing that, or the movie. And I will say, I'm so glad you brought up Undercover Brother. We had a blast on that movie to be able to work with Dave Chappelle and Eddie Griffin. And then I reconnected with other actors that I've worked with. We shot in Toronto. It was so much fun shooting that movie. We couldn't even keep a straight face. I had a blast doing that. So I would say those, and then I have to throw in Drop Dead Gorgeous because it was in Minnesota and we had fun with that too. But those were very wonderful experiences I will never forget.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel like if I could have been a fly on the wall for Undercover Brother, I feel like I would have burned 1,000 calories a day by just laughing hysterically.
You would have. It was such a fun, we had so much fun shooting it.
Oh, I love that. Okay. All right. So now we get into the rapid fire questions and kind of piggybacking off of those three movies. Okay, we're going to play this game for this. You got to start one. Do you follow sports decently?
I
kind of, sort of, a little bit, not so much.
I know some.
Okay, so we're going to do a thing.
Are you going to throw sports questions in here?
No. So
I'll tell you where I worked out. Your picture was everywhere. They have a beautiful photo of you.
Oh, take a picture next time and send it to me.
I'm going to send it to you.
Awesome.
You know where it's at, in Westlake.
Oh, heck yeah.
At Coactive.
Oh, yeah. I used to work out there. Okay, nice. Heck yeah. I didn't know I made the
They
wall.
love you.
Oh, I need to go visit them. All right, so it's going to be start, bench, and cut. Starting lineup. If you're playing any sport, like my starting five in basketball,
okay.
And then bench. Like, what would you put on the bench? Like, not to be the starter, but a bench. And then who would you cut? Like, you would release them from your team or remove them from your team. Like, I got cut from a team one time, like that.
Golden, is this like fuck, marry, kill? But a nicer way of saying it?
Yes. And so you can take it there too if you want. You can do that.
No, but now I have okay. So we're going to do start, bench, or cut. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or your way is fine. You take it wherever you're. All right. So
I'll do your way.
We're going to take your three favorite movies that you film, which are Starship Troopers, Wild Things, and Undercover Brother. And you are going to, you got to do it. Which are you doing?
Okay, so start, bench, or cut. Mm-hmm. Well, I'd have to start with Starship Troopers.
Okay. Who you throwing on the bench?
That's a tough one. Bench, I would have to. The bench of those two, I'll bench Undercover Brother and I'll cut Wild Things.
Okay. Well, there it is. Okay, next question. Watching the season, any missions you believe you would have crushed and wish you would have done?
No.
Fair enough. There it is.
I didn't even crush the ones I did do.
You gave maximum effort, and I commend you for that.
Golden, I'll never forget when I jumped off that stupid ass fucking bridge. Can I swear? Sorry. Well, you can cut it. Whatever. Yeah. I have a potty mouth. Whatever.
It is okay.
It's not a surprise.
We're adults.
And you were like, I thought you broke your neck. I'm like, yes. I thought I did too.
We're going to get into that. And I laugh every time I think about like how that all played out.
I barely made it through. I could barely carry that stupid ass backpack, Birkin ass bag. I couldn't do any of this other shit.
Right. But you tried. You gave so much effort, and you can see that you wanted to do it, and you can see that you were giving your all. And
you know what I realized?
What?
I couldn't swim.
Me either. Sheesh, I struggled.
I remember you and I in the car going, you said, I wish I didn't tell them I could swim.
For real.
And I'm like, fuck, I wish I didn't either. Even the Olympian athlete couldn't swim in that fucking water.
I had no clue it was ocean warfare when I signed up for this.
Me neither. They didn't tell us that.
Gosh. Jeez.
I was so stupid.
I know, you and I both. Gosh. All right. Next question. Who was your best bud on the show?
I had 4. You, Cam, Trista, and Marion.
Oh, solid crew. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite DS?
Rudy.
Yeah.
He was, I would say Rudy.
Yeah. Good stories too. If you were there for the milling/boxing and you got to choose who you would box, who would it have been?
I would have left because I didn't like that they didn't have face guard. So if I had my fucking nose punched, it's game over for me with my business.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can fix that.
Like,
This might take a little bit.
But that's like, I can't believe they didn't protect faces.
Well, we put on headgear and a mouthpiece, but we did not have a nose
I'm talking
guard.
about face.
Yeah.
Like your That was a little. I would have opted out.
Yeah, you just gotta dodge and weave a little bit, baby. You gotta.
Yeah, but even my husband, he's like, I think those women would have wanted to swank in your face. So I was like, I'm glad I wasn't there.
I feel like you could have. I think you could have like made it out. I mean, Kayla would have been tough.
It depends.
Kayla would have been
crushed
tough.
Me.
Yeah,
Kayla would have crushed me. I think they would have paired me up with probably Trista, some of my height and weight.
Yeah, I agree.
I was a lot shorter than Kayla, so she could have.
You might have been spared there.
I think so.
There's probably not any, but if you had to choose a meal that you enjoyed the most, what was it?
There?
Yeah. Ain't too many options.
I think oatmeal. No. I was like, I couldn't believe there was no craft service.
I know, right?
There was no food.
It was tough. The snacks were the best, actually, for me. Like early on, we got those little yogurt-covered raisins.
Yeah, as long as we could steal them because they took them away, too.
I know. They did us wrong right there, too. That was my highlight, and then they took it. They knew that we loved it.
They took it out.
Took it away from us. At camp, where did you hang out the most?
We didn't get to really hang out.
I agree.
Where those the
dry room,
where it was only a foot high or whatever, that tiny ass heater where everyone's socks were there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I liked us all talking. I do wish I stayed longer because my favorite moments were all of us hanging out. And I wish that we had more time to do that where they got to film that.
Right.
They filmed it when we were in the vehicles going to our task. And then even when we were back at the camp, it was such little time. And we were all so on edge in fear of them yelling at us to quickly get dressed and put all our shit together. So everyone, I think, was anxious. Like, are they going to yell at us?
I was on edge the entire time, not knowing if I was doing it right or wrong. And it was tough.
They were on your ass from the first moment when they
saw. You noticed that too? Lee.
Yes.
The chicken coop? Are you serious? For fidgeting?
Can we talk about the chicken coop for a second?
Go ahead.
Because we all had to face forward. because we were scared to look back when they said that you were going to jail. I was expecting us to walk by you standing in some, I don't know what the hell. And then when we turned, it took everything in me not to laugh. I'm so sorry. I'm like, what the fuck did they put him in? You're like underground. I was scared to laugh because although I wouldn't have cared if I was in there too, because it would have saved me from doing the other crap they were going to have us do. But
Yeah.
that was like crazy.
It was nuts. I
You
couldn't
were
believe I
such
got
a
put in
good
it.
sport. You were such a great sport. But
It
they
is what
picked
it
on you.
is.
They picked on you.
I think so too. But they knew I could take
Yes.
it, so I was able to deal with it. But I was like, man, how'd I get stuck in this chicken coop? All right, we are wrapping it up, and then we're gonna really dive into the special forces.
Sorry if I'm
well, this is
sidetracking.
fun. This is great. You're perfect. The DS that scares you the most.
Funny, my instinct would be to say Billy, but actually he didn't. It was I would if I had to pick out of all four, I would say probably Foxy, but I wouldn't. I saw something really kind with all of them. Either that or Q, who when we were in the pool, he had a floaty while we're all drowning. So I was like, how come he didn't give us a floaty?
He had a pool
It's
noodle
Q or
in the middle of it
Foxy.
as we're drowning. Literally, he's just in the middle, like, get over here. I'm like, bro, you got a pool noodle, all right?
I know. I almost grabbed onto his noodle and he wouldn't let me.
That would have been hilarious to see. Oh my gosh. Okay, and last question we have in this rapid fire is, if you could sum up your special forces experience in one word, what would it be?
In one word? Mm-hmm. Surreal.
Surreal. Okay,
Yeah.
that has not been used before. I like that word. Okay, good. All right, and that is our rapid fire. And now we get into the nitty gritty of it and how we ended up getting here on this show that just absolutely crushed our souls. And so you saw season 1, you turned down season 2.
Yes.
Because you saw season 1, but then season 3, they came back and really wanted you a part of it. What possessed you to sign up for season 3?
I don't know. It was a lot of conversations with Becky, and I talked to a couple other. I talked to Brian Green. I talked to a few people, and the thing was, what the producers kept telling me was it's more mental than physical, because I said, if I do this shit, I think I might fucking kill myself. Not like I might get injured. I don't know if you've noticed, I'm not that athletic. So I was a little nervous about that part. And I heard that a lot of athletes were doing it, you being one. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to do this shit? And then I talked to Brian Green, and he's like, look, if you can't do something, or if your physical ability, whatever, they'll have something else for you. You'll get punished, but they'll have something else for you to do. And so I have no idea, but I decided to do it. And so I had 3 weeks to prepare, and my Pilates wasn't going to cut it. And so then I quickly started working out my ass off. I had 3 weeks to work out. I worked out so hard, and I'm like, oh shit. I was so nervous to do it. I really thought if it was physical, like, first of all, I'm scared of heights. I can't believe I jumped off that freaking bridge. So mentally, I was able to do that. Physically, I thought I broke my neck, popped my boobs. And then when I did the jumping on the helicopter, mentally, I was able to do it. Physically, I couldn't pull my asshole up in there. So, those are
You are freaking hilarious.
It's true. So I got like mentally, I could, but I also, I'm so sorry. When you see all of us and they push us into that water,
Oh my gosh.
are you joking? And when I fell in, I didn't know we were going in because I was in the front of the boat. I didn't hear everyone because it was so loud. And I was like, I thought I was the only one. I'm like, I was so scared. And he's like, go there, go there. And they let me go halfway to this other weird ass boat. And they're like, no, go that way. And then I go, and I really thought, I'm going to fucking drown on this damn ass show. And I was like, help, help. I was asking someone for help. I don't see divers or a safety team around. And I'm like, okay, this is not good. This is not what I
Panic.
was told.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I was so scared after, and I thought, well, I can't tap out now. We're just introducing us, and I'm going to look like an asshole if I'm like, but when I got out of that water, because it was so cold, I didn't know that it's hypothermia I couldn't walk. Like and then you had to climb up whatever the hell those stairs were to get to Rudy and do all those push-ups while we're waiting for everyone. And you're freezing your ass off. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it was it was, I don't know. It was, I don't know how it was crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So I went into this show thinking, okay, I can swim and I don't think I'm going to be the worst swimmer. So that's probably okay. Also not knowing that it was ocean warfare. They didn't tell me that until I watched the opening scene when I,
Me too. I didn't know it either.
Oh, didn't know that. That was not in the contract anywhere.
No.
And when they pushed me into that water, like that cold ass water, like I'm like trying to catch my breath. And then I get up above the water and I see where I got to go. And I was like, there's no freaking way. I'm fully clothed. How am I going to swim from here to there? Meanwhile, Q's in a boat, like pushing me like, let's go, like go. And I'm like, are you serious? And to your point, we get to land finally. Arms about to fall off, legs are falling off. I can't breathe. I got to hike up. It's not even a hard hill to hike up, but when you have no energy as it is and you woke up at 3 a.m. to go, like it felt nearly impossible. And I'm an athlete. And so I can only imagine what folks like you and Allie and Trista and Christy and Kyla were going through. And Jordan probably did okay, but I just could not imagine. Just for us to get up there and what we thought at the time was to be punished. We thought we were being punished already for doing up downs and push-ups and jumping jacks and all that crap. But turns out it was just so we didn't catch hypothermia.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because that water was cold.
They had us go up there just for that?
Now that I look back at it and understand what I understand about hypothermia and like what happens when you're in cold water, like you have to when you're freezing cold, the best thing you can do is keep moving, get your blood circulating. And that was kind of all a part of it. Like when we did, I think you might have already gone, we did another water experiment when we got in the water in the boat and the boat submerged. And then, when we got out, we had to do all these movements to keep your blood moving and flowing through your body.
But do you remember the second season when they were in the cold, they had tents that had heaters for them to change?
Oh my gosh.
We didn't ever have that. And they would have us. And also when you had to change on TV, when you're taking your civilian clothes off and you're standing there on television, they make it look like it's like that. It's quick. They had us stripped down for a little bit longer than it seemed that would air on television, where it's so freaking cold. It was so cold. And we didn't have a tent. So I wasn't going to take my bra and underwear off on television. So I had to leave wet bra, wet underwear on and add the whatever dry clothes and then the weird towel that we had that wasn't even dry and dirty. So it was it's very, I will say, doing reality television, this is real. And it's more real than what they show, actually.
People have asked me like a bunch, like, was it as hard as it looks? And I said, no, it was harder than it looked.
It's harder.
Like, to your point, like we sat there trying, like this bag, they just throw this big ass Bergen at us.
And they
at 30
throw
pounds.
it so hard to you.
Yeah.
They threw it hard to me too. it almost knocked me on my back.
I didn't even catch mine, and I'm supposed to be like a receiver to catch it. Like I typically catch everything besides COVID.
They did it on purpose.
I did not catch that bag.
He did it on purpose.
1,000%.
I know, it's funny. You handled it so well, though. God.
I tried my best. I went into it like, look, physically, I'm going to be fine. I don't know how it's going to be mentally. I actually watched just season 1 and season 2. Like, oh, this looks fun. That's fun. Like, I'm going to get to do some cool stuff. Woohoo. I cannot wait. Yes. I got there. It was seconds of coolness and funness and minutes and hours of like what felt like torture in my mind and like extremely tough situations. I've never in my life consistently day after day be physically tired, emotionally tired, and mentally tired. Like usually in all of our jobs, it's like one or the other. Maybe I'm mentally tired today and physically tired, but emotionally I'm okay. Or maybe I'm emotionally and mentally, but physically I'm okay. Every single day I was there, it was those 3 things or sitting on 0% battery, period.
You did such a, I knew you would make it, to the end.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
I knew you did. You would.
And I want, it was important to me because like it wasn't one of these shows where like, oh, if you make it to the end, you get like $250,000 or $1 million, whatever. Right. So, it was competitive against myself, but I went into it mentally like, look, I understand physically I'm going to be probably one of the more advanced folks, and based off the, how they've done previous seasons, like they're going to have some people who are, physically weaker, but mentally stronger, or physically weaker and emotionally stronger. And like physically, I'm going to help. I want to see everyone go as far as they can. And I don't want to see anyone leave because they just felt like they could not handle the physical part. So like, I really took a lot of pride in helping you and Trista,
you did.
Whenever I possibly could, Kyla, Christy, like I wanted to see all of us stay as long as we possibly could because we had an awesome cast.
And that's the thing, but before we all went and they have us watch a video and saying, if you're not able to do that, you could still stay. And one of the things that was hard for me is because I loved all of you and you helped me so much, and I couldn't wait for us to do our reunion so I could have a chance to tell you how grateful I was, because when someone leaves, you don't get to say goodbye. You don't get to say stuff. It's like gone. And I asked when we were doing that thing where we hook the arms and do that water stuff in the wherever the heck we were. I asked Q. I said, because I knew I injured myself jumping off that bridge, and I just asked him. I said, I haven't watched the show, by the way.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen it.
Is there a reason why?
Well, one, I don't like to watch my stuff.
I feel you on that.
So, and also because it was such a hard thing, I opened up a lot in the room. Mm-hmm. And so which I've never talked about before. And so I was like, I just don't know if I can watch this. Mm-hmm. So I haven't seen it, but I talked to Q and I asked him, I said, could I please just see a doctor? I just wanted to make sure I was okay to continue, because I don't want to also go home broken. And he wouldn't let me see a doctor. He goes, if I let you see a doctor, they're going to make you leave. And I'm thinking, well, that's not what was on the video that we saw from Fox the day before. But okay, They told us if we need to see someone, we can. And I'm like, anyway. So I said, well, I feel like I don't have a choice. You're leaving me with no choice. Anyway, so that's the thing that I was disappointed about, that I wasn't able to, one, at least just see if I could continue. Right. And two, that I wasn't able to say, bye, you guys. Thank you so much for everything. Grab my shit over there.
It was so intense that I didn't even notice, like when you had left during the bus training. Like I didn't know until after we were leaving, like, oh yeah, Denise is gone. I was like, what? Like, because most everyone else, we got to like, we know that, okay, they just got hurt, they're leaving. But you, it was just like you were there. And by the time we finished that
When you guys had to carry the
thing's
logs, I
done.
told him, I said, I need to see a doctor before I do that. I
Yeah.
cannot hold up a freaking log right now. If I know I hurt myself, I just want
Mm-hmm.
to ask if I'm okay to
Mm-hmm.
continue. And if he says I am, then I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was right when you guys went and did the log stuff on the beach. And that's when
Jeez.
it was. And I was really so bummed that I didn't get to say anything.
I know. And man, I wish I would have known that because I would have just like the log thing. Like I would have found a way to like, I'll hold 80% of it, you hold 20% of it, and we'll figure
Oh
it out.
no, I didn't also want to be a weak link for everyone either.
Hey, look,
Shit.
we all just trying to make it to the next day. That's all. We trying to get to the next day, and that was kind of it. And if I had anything to give, I was going to give it because hey, we get to rejuvenate a little bit later. But gosh, I'm so sad I didn't get to say bye to you. But I was also so thankful I saw you at the reunion. I got to just catch up with you and kind of chit chat a little bit. We had some good times. Then you kind of, one of the things you said, you don't like to watch your own stuff.
Yeah.
I completely understand that because I don't like seeing my own interviews as well. And even really my football film, I didn't like to watch it because I feel like there's always something I can do better. But you did say, you gave me a reason why you didn't, one of the reasons why you didn't want to watch it because you opened up about some things in interrogation that none of us knew, obviously, while we're there, and we didn't find out until we watched the show. And I just want to kind of draw attention to that and
Sure.
say thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing your heart. I think it's really, really hard for people in general, but especially celebrities to really go to that place. And so I just want to acknowledge you and say, man,
Oh,
that
thank you.
kudos for you on television, taking yourself there and having to relive and revisit that. And I just want people to like, you know, really think about that. Like you put
Thank
yourself on
you.
display. And so thank you.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I've done a couple of interviews where people ask me why I did. And part of when I did decide to really commit to do the show, these guys, the DS, this is what they do. And I have so much respect for the military. My dad's a Vietnam vet. And I just really have a lot of respect for them. And I know that were hard on everyone, but they also really care.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been through, can't even imagine. And so one of the reasons too that I wanted to is I wanted to really try to get out of the show what I shared is like, it's not just a reality show and you're not competing against anyone but ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I shared it and wanted to be honest, is because if I could learn something from these guys, I want to be able to take that in. And even though it is hard to open up on television, I was like, I don't care. I just want to get what I can out of it as much as I can from these men who, you know, can't even imagine what they've been through.
Right, right. Like we probably experienced a tenth of actually what they go through
Can't
being
even
away,
imagine.
and like it's kind of crazy. So I mean, I thought that was really cool, and like so far, what I'm sensing is like you are in a good place in life right now. And the confidence within yourself, the belief within yourself, I feel like it's in a good place for you to be able to take yourself there and not even really like worry about the consequences, if you will, of like what people may think, what people may say. And like, that's a really cool thing to see and feel like you're in a good place in life where you don't feel like you want or need to hide something. I mean, it's that comment you just made about that, and also putting yourself and your family on display with the show is, I mean, you have to be really confident in yourself and be open to like all the BS criticism of all these nerds behind,
Oh,
TikTok,
honey, I've
Twitter, and
had it
Instagram.
all.
I know, and it's so
Once you've
kudos.
had so much shit said about you, you don't care anymore.
Right? Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
go through the divorce I went through, and I used to be so private,
Mm-hmm.
and going through my divorce with Charlie, it was one of the hardest things I ever went through. I did Oprah's show, and I believe I shared with her it. one of the silver linings was that I was always a people pleaser. I always
Mm-hmm.
cared about what people thought. I would do interviews before a movie or a TV show or whatever and have to, okay, what am I? And when you've had people say so much stuff, have so much judgment without knowing you, it actually was such a blessing for me that I was able to let go and be my true authentic self and not give a rat's ass of what people think about me.
Mm-hmm.
And some people like it and some people don't. It doesn't, I don't even care. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I am myself. And that is one of the blessings that my divorce did give me
There
was
you
all
go.
the crappy ass stories written about us. And
Golly.
actually Charlie and I have a sense of humor about it because believe me, he's had a lot of stuff written about him too, where we
Mm-hmm.
can laugh about it like it's so bad. So I think when you go through so much stuff that's public, you kind of I have nothing to lose. Like I can't even think of anything else someone could say about
Right.
me.
Yeah. You've probably heard it all. And that's,
I've heard it all. And that's why I'm like, I don't even care. I'm just me and whatever.
hey, authenticity is always the best way. And I'm glad that you figured it out. And I'm still trying to figure it out. We all need to figure it out. Like people are going to say whatever they want to say about you, regardless if it's true or not. But look, my head is still gonna lay down on this nice soft goose down pillow, and I'm still
Right.
gonna sleep like a champ and get my eight and a
Yes.
half hours and my 2 hours of REM sleep, and I'm gonna be just fine.
It's so true. And at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's who you love and care about. And that is the bubble that I have to really, it's our kids, it's our significant other and our family, like and close friend, whoever it is in our that you that's what I care about. And the
Hmm.
outside is noise. And if we listen to it, it it could sway a decision or not. It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah,
at the end of the day when we're at the end. That's what matters more than anything. I think.
1,000%. Well said, sister. So you mentioned earlier that you were scared to jump off of something. And
Yes.
then right away, we have this mission where we, again, hike for 20 minutes up terrain, down terrain, over rocks, in creeks. And then we get to this bridge. And I think we all look at the bridge like, oh, I know where this is going. I know exactly where this is going. And then we all have to jump off the bridge. Now, I know you had your situation. I hurt my rib jumping off of it. Allie hurt her fingers jumping off of it. So we lost some soldiers, right away. But I remember when you jumped and watching you jump and how that very violent, like, grab of the rope, just like it looked like it snapped you in half. And we heard something of which we thought was your neck being broke.
Thank God
Now,
it was.
it was not your neck breaking. However, at the reunion, you shared with me, because I didn't know anything that happened. You shared with me that you ruptured not one,
Two.
but two boobies
Yes.
on that jump.
Yes.
I laugh because I know that you're okay. I know that you're okay,
Oh,
but I laugh
thank you.
so much when I think about that story, and I cannot wait for you to share some insight on that again. Please, please,
So
please.
So I'll never forget. Q was adjusting my harness,
Uh-huh.
and he was making it tight, and it goes over my boobies. And I almost made a comment to him or asked him, but I was too scared, which is not like me. Like you could see I'm pretty straightforward. I wanted to ask him, will this, I almost asked, will this rupture my implants? Because this is quite tight. And I didn't
Oh,
say shit. And so I jumped. First of all, I was scared I'm so scared of heights, terrified.
okay.
I actually saw, no one knows this, I saw a hypnotist before we went because I had a feeling heights and I had never seen one before. I'm really so terrified of heights. The fact I was able to jump is my kids, my husband, everyone. I can't walk next to a windows that are like when you go into the Empire State Building, they're taking photos and you're up there and everyone, when you're doing
Absolutely.
things up there and I can't, I'm so scared. I don't even want to, I'm good.
Right.
It's terrifying. So the fact that I jumped off that bridge because of the height was a miracle. But then I will say, so you and I were the only lefties on there.
Yes.
And
Good memory, by the way.
What'd you say?
I said good memory, by the way.
So and I said to Foxy, the mechanism is for a right-handed person.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, don't worry about it. Just go. And then stupidly we did, but it's bizarre that no one like really worked with it. I thought someone would work with it while we're waiting to go up there. No. Well, first of all, you have to climb up that stupid ass hill to get up to that bridge to jump off. I could barely make it up that thing. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You guys are having us. And I looked like such an ass trying to climb up that thing. Then you jump off. But the rope, when we jumped, it wasn't what I would call a bungee. It kind of it was a rope.
A very violent rope.
It wasn't like you bounced. It was a jerk. So the force of that, whatever, is what ruptured my implants. And yes, go ahead. I'm having them done in May, by the way. I've had to push my surgery like 3 times because of work, because I need the 2 weeks to recover.
Oh my gosh. So
I know.
May's the big day. And are you
May's
gonna
the big day. One looks like, I told you, I think at the reunion, one looks like a pancake and one looks like a square. They're like completely fucked up looking. They do not look good. And my husband's even like, yeah, I think they're ruptured. When he met me in London after we wrapped. We were in Wales, and when we got released, I went to London. My husband met me there. I'm like, holy hell, look at me. And he's like, you look good. And then I'm like, no, look. He's like, I think something might have happened.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, so May's a big day.
May's the big day where Denise Richards is getting new boobs because of her experience jumping off the bridge on Special Forces. So
do you go with the same thing? Do you do something different?
Well, they've got like, no, we're designing them. There's different technology. So yeah, no, I'm going to get really, really new ones. So
wow,
I'm excited.
That is exciting. Okay. So you jump off the bridge. And so you knew right away that you did it. Well,
here's the other thing that happened too. I had 4 hernia surgeries a few years ago. The 2 femoral and 2 inguinal. I think from my C-sections.
Okay.
But so I was also concerned about my hernias after that.
Yeah.
Because it was so, I don't know if you've ever had anything like that. And it's not the upper, it's like in your groin. And so it was so painful. I had to have an MRI when I got back because the doctor from our show thought my hernia came back. It wasn't that. It was just I had swelling where your leg goes into your hip, whatever.
Yeah.
And they said it would take 3 months. So I'm fine with that. So I did not have to have any more surgery with that.
That's
so
good.
It was a combination between that and my boobs. I was like, can I please see a doctor to Q? I go, I don't know if I can carry that log. I think if the doctor says I can, I'll be like, okay. But when we were rolling back with the thing in the ocean, I'm like, oh my God, I hope my implant doesn't end up on my back when we were rolling back.
What? Oh
yeah,
my
I was
gosh.
like, oh my God, something is not right. And this is not going to be good. And we're on TV. Luckily, we have heavy clothing where you can't see shit. So Yeah, no, I just said, could I please see a doctor? But I was too embarrassed to tell them what it was because I didn't know what he would, if he'd be like, you know what, it's just that, like, go over there, lift that log, or if he would be, oh shit, I think you should see a doctor. I wasn't sure. So
So you was more embarrassed about
I
the
didn't,
hernia or
oh
the
no, no, no,
boobs?
not the hernia, the boobs.
Okay. Okay. So
I
you
didn't
knew
want to
some.
say, hey, I think my tits exploded on that
Yeah.
thing. Can I please? No, I was more embarrassed about that.
Oh, okay. So you knew. Did you know how bad it was? Like, was it like, oh, I knew I did something, but I don't know how bad it was? And
Yes,
then
I
that
knew I did
night,
something. I didn't know how bad it was.
and then you look down and be like, oh my gosh, why are these things look
It
like
was
someone in?
no, it wasn't. I knew something wasn't right, and then when I left, it was after I left, I was able to figure it out.
Oh wow. So you like one day you just like look down like, oh my gosh, why these look like someone, a doctor
It
that only
wasn't. It
takes
was.
cash
But it was
in
soon
Tijuana did this.
after. But I was actually, quite frankly, more concerned about the like hernia because of lifting.
Right.
But I also didn't want my implant to go, super sideways. I just knew I needed to see someone. That was
Oh
all.
my
I knew
goodness.
something happened.
That
And
is
I'm like, oh
wild.
shit. But I was too embarrassed to tell the DS that I think my boobs exploded. I need to see someone. So I just asked if I could see a doctor.
There you go. So does like Fox insurance plan like help you with this? Are you covered or you
Oh,
know?
honey, I think we signed our life away on this show, didn't we? I didn't ask them if they're going to cover it.
I mean, it might be worth a little filler, maybe something.
Well, I've been open about it. No one's reached out and said, can we buy your boobs?
Oh, and they clearly know. So I guess you're reading between the lines. Okay.
No, I'm sure we signed everything away when we signed the contracts. This was a lesson too. I should have read the fine print.
But you'd imagine they have insurance, right? So they have insurance. I just don't know how that works with all
I
that.
don't know. I'm like, ugh,
Just,
whatever. I
yeah,
don't want to, you know what I mean? It's like,
ready to
I don't
move
want to be
on.
that girl either.
Yeah, yeah.
I was excited to promote the show and do all that. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to be like, oh, you guys, I'm going to, it's okay. There's risks doing the show, and I didn't think that would be one of them, but I'm glad, you know what? I'm grateful it was that and not my neck.
Absolutely, a
So
thousand
I
percent.
really, truly am super grateful. I really am.
Oh, that's the
And I'm grateful
spirit.
I got to meet you and everyone else and make friends on the show. So it is what it is.
Oh, you're too sweet. So you absolutely battled, and I'm proud of how you fought, and even like knowing now what you went through. That is insane. Yes, I'm proud of you how you fought and knowing what you went through. Did you feel like you came into the show pretty healthy though, for the most part?
Yeah. I mean, we went through so many. I had no health issues. I feel I'm very active, and even though I'm older than Trista and I and Marion, I think we're the oldest ones of the group, and
Okay.
Steven. But I feel I'm very youthful. I feel I'm very healthy, but there was just I have implants. And then, but outside of that, yeah, like I'm very active and all that. So that was never an issue for me. When doing the show, when obviously physical for me though is I'm not an athlete. I do Pilates. I'm not, I never even did, you know, my cardio isn't really cardio.
Mm-hmm.
So I started cardio, but I didn't give myself time.
Mm.
So, and then to run with that backpack where they put weights in it or whatever, all that crap in it, and then they put sand and gravel. Um, it's a lot for my body. I'm small. I don't weigh a lot, and I'm short compared to everyone else.
Mm-hmm. That is too good. What? So this might be it because we've been discussing a lot. But what was your most memorable moment of being on the show?
meeting you, Cam, and me and Trista in the car, I swear that was the first thing I told my husband was how much I adore you and Cam and had so much fun with that. And it was such an eclectic group that when would we all have an opportunity to be together like that and meet each other? And I really do wish that we had more time to sit by in the camp to get to know each other more that way, where we're not so stressed out or they're going to yell at us to go do something. But the moments though that we did have in the car, the vehicles and talking, I'll never forget that because it was just so fun and funny and really lighthearted, and it made me laugh. And those are the moments I think, when you look back on stuff like this, the experience, you think of those moments.
Yeah, that's so good. It reminded me those moments that they didn't show enough of, but they reminded me of being in the locker room again and having that camaraderie and knowing we all have one goal, and that's to make it to the end, and we're going to need to support each other. And when you're not 100%, say you're functioning at 80%. Well, then that means I need to step up and be functioning at 100%, 120%. And so I think we understood that right away. And so we gelled really well. And it also reminded me of like, man, what it used to be like in the locker room. And it's something that I miss and value so much more than the actual football itself. It's the camaraderie that I had in locker room. So like another thing I went into, like, man, I want to like really bond with this group because we're about to go through some serious hard crap.
I agree. And I wish I was there longer because I think the mental I would be good at pushing as far as encouraging everyone, you can do it. You've got this, that part. But athletically, I've never been an athlete. I've always been like a pipsqueak. My athleticism is Pilates. So that part, you guys were great, really helping. But I love that camaraderie too. And that's what I also love when I work on a film set, having all of us like hanging out and we're doing a movie together. And it's just that camaraderie, just supporting each other. And it's so amazing. And that's something. And the fact that we all really, truly even slept in the same place, that doesn't happen. Right. And I actually loved that they had us do that. I got the toilet for us, that private toilet.
I know that we did have that toilet.
That was from me, honey.
Oh, so how did you what happened? How did you get that?
That was a deal breaker for me.
Okay, and what was the deal? Like, because I never used it, I just saw it.
I am not going to be on a toilet where you could see feet on television, and I'm next to someone doing a 10-2. So I said, I want a toilet where the door goes from the floor to and so it took a month for them to tell me that they got the toilet. Cam, being as tall as he freaking is, he saw the toilet. But I said this too. I said, if I'm able to use it, everyone else has got to use it. Otherwise, I'm going to have a target on my back the whole time that I'm there. And I was told that it would be kind of hidden, but that I would see it and know where it's at. So it was next to the two little outhouses.
They gave you the bare minimum, but that is so
dope. But at least it was like from the,
Yeah, it was.
No one wants to see your feet when you're out. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, that was a good call for you to negotiate in and for the greater good of the people.
It took a while. I'm sure they're thrilled I have publicly said that, but because then the next time the next cast is going to be like, I'm on the toilet.
And they're going to be like, no.
Dude, well, they have it already.
Right, yeah, it's already built. Okay, but the moment that you left, they locked that thing up and we had no access to it. So,
really?
Mm-hmm, they locked that thing up real good too. Boarded that thing up.
Nope. No way.
Nope. Yeah. And then we actually started assigning. Did
someone say, how come this is locked?
Oh, we wasn't asking any questions.
I know.
We
were each other.
Yeah, we talked like what happened, but none of us knew that you negotiated it in the contract. So good call, cuz. That's dope. Okay, so I know you said it many times that you would never do it again. Okay. But if they offered you enough money or pounds, if you will, to do it, and you can make your own terms, but you had to stay for all 10 days. And these terms can be whatever you want as far as what you do, what you don't do. What would you do? Like, what would your terms be if they asked you to do it again?
If they asked me to do it again, what I would propose would be, if I, like, physically, if there's, for instance, if someone's got a bad back, if there's something that could hurt someone's back, then they would come up with a different task for them. If there was a different task for something physically where I'd have an option, I would do that. But if it was either you do this or you're out, or if you could try it and then you're out, that's fine. But like, for instance, if you're carrying I knew I couldn't carry the freaking log at that moment. So then if I'm not able to carry it as long as they ask me to, would I be out? If I'm out, then that's where I couldn't do it. But if I did as many seconds or minutes that I could do it to let me stay and then punish me another way, then I would do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a complete sense. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So is there something that you learned about yourself, good or bad, while you were there after you left?
I learned I can't swim. I thought I could swim until I did this show. I was on a swim team in high school. I really, truly thought I could swim until I did this show. But there's a difference swimming in clothes and boots and in open water, and it's freaking freezing cold. And I was wondering, we didn't have our phones with us. I couldn't Google, what water is this? What animal is in there? Like, I didn't know, I don't know my geography that well as far as the water. I didn't know, is there a shark in here? Does that Loch Ness monster go from Scotland here? Like, I really didn't know. I'm like, what the heck is down there? You can't see shit.
Nothing.
So, I didn't know what was in that water. That made me slightly nervous.
But it's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing you didn't know, because if you would have saw that's where sharks mate, or you probably would nah, I'm not doing this. I'm out.
And I'm like, well, they probably wouldn't do anything that would be dangerous, but I don't know. So that part I did not know.
Oh, gee. Well, that's probably a good thing.
If you had to, that's the thing people don't know too, that they truly did. Because I'm sure with you doing press, they ask you, do they really take your phone away? Yeah, we did not have our phones.
Didn't have anything. You could barely even get anything. Did you sneak anything in?
I got approved. I got lip balm and tinted sunscreen. That's it. That's what I was able to.
All right.
And I did get approval for the Theragun.
Me too. I brought mine, and then
we
they took it away.
They did.
They took it away, probably day 4, 5, 6, something like that. They took it away from me.
Really?
Yeah, they did barrack checks, and then Q, number 9. What's this? Is this allowed contraband? I was like, yes, staff. Yes, staff. They let me bring this in. Okay, he put it back. Next time we left the room and came back, it was gone.
No way.
Yep.
And he was using it on his back.
Probably. The battery was a little low when I got it back, come to think of it. Sure was.
Now, have you talked to anyone from the DS?
Yes, I talked to him a lot, especially during on Wednesdays when they were showing it. Like, I have DM with Rudy. I know a couple guys. I know Brody's hung out with Rudy and Q, and I think even Foxy, and maybe even Billy. But I've spoken to all of them, and it's like, man, they were so intimidating.
I know.
For the duration of the show to me, especially Q. And then after the show, they became just real dope, cool people. Humans. I was like I want to spend more time with them. I want to go have a beer and just listen to war stories and all the crazy stuff they did. I want to hear their
stories too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna like invite them to come out and hang. What? Maybe
You
I'll
should
wait
have
until you
them do
come.
you should have all of them on here.
I would love to. I would love to. Absolutely. That's so.
I'm sure they would love that.
It would be fun. We get some good stuff for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Man, you were just on fire. You've covered just about everything I wanted to like talk about. If there was one mission or twist that you could like do in a future season, what would it be?
One mission on the special forces.
Or something you can add, like what do you think would be a cool mission to do? Or
Well, I think they've done the desert. They've done. Now I'm getting it. And Trista was the one that said, "Well, of course they're going to have water." Because I was like, "Well, I didn't know there was going to be water. I knew there would be a water scene, but I didn't know the whole thing would be water for us." So, what would be the next thing they would do? Flying.
that would be cool, kind of,
I would not
and
want to
scary.
be part of that, though.
Yeah, I
Like,
want to do something
really,
with guns.
Oh my God.
Pew 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 pew.
You were so funny.
Oh my god.
You were hilarious.
Oh, thank
And
you.
the DS were laughing, but they had to act like it was so funny.
I did not think I was gonna get in so much trouble after doing that. I was like, all right, I just passed a mission. I'm gonna, have a little fun because I just know I crushed it, and it's probably gonna be good for TV. And oh my gosh, I got completely chewed.
Have you
when I got
talked to
Billy.
them since the show and talked to them about that?
Yeah, they all said I laughed so hard. I was drinking the water and I almost spit it out when I saw it like live. And they all thought it was probably hilarious. It's just, for the sake
I know
of
they'd act.
the show, they had to like lock it in and like get into me. And they just kept saying, "You're pussyfooting." And I was like, never heard that before, but it can't be good. Oh, I got in so much trouble.
I've never heard that before, but it can't be good.
I had
It
to
was
straighten
so
up.
funny.
I had to straighten up.
It was really cute, though. We all laughed. It was so funny.
Well, I'm glad at my expense, like we got a good laugh because that was the whole point of it. Like I wanted to keep it lighthearted because it was hard. Like what we were doing was hard. It took patience. It took mental strength, emotional strength, physical strength. And like when we did it, I want us to do it serious. And then when it's time to kick it, which is
Right.
I did a little bit too early, I want us to laugh because I feel like for me to keep from crying, I had to laugh.
Would you do it again?
I think I would do it again because of like the relationships that I made with you guys and like me and Brody are going to go on a ski trip in a few days, which is
Oh, that's nice.
pumped. So I'm going to spend some more time with him. And like, I think about all you guys often. I know there's people like Jordan, you and Trista, and Nathan that I wish I got to spend more time with. And
I know.
I just always wonder like what it would have been like to have like, 4 or 5 more of you guys on day 7, 8, 9, because it like, after we fought, we lost a bunch of you guys. We went from like 16 to like 8 in a matter of 3 days to the point where they had to
know.
settle down. It felt a little empty.
In 3 days, half of us were gone.
Yeah. And it was kind of a blessing to us who stayed because like they had to chill out a little bit. Else we weren't going to have a show. I mean, we were leaving at a rapid rate.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's like, ooh, we kind of settled down a little bit. We were still doing some intense stuff, but it was like kind of chilled out physically because you just couldn't afford to lose more people.
Right. No, I get it. I
Yeah.
know. I so badly wish that that we all were able to stay longer just to have that experience with all of you guys. But the little
Absolutely.
time we did spend was so intense and wonderful. And why we're here right now talking, I love it. It's great.
Absolutely. I know you said your dad was a vet, and
Yeah.
several folks have reached out to me active and, veterans saying, oh my gosh, I've really appreciated getting to know you. Thank you for doing the show. You guys did a great job at showing like some of the things that we go through. And it's a complete honor to have them say that. Is there anything that you want to share with our servicemen and women or our veterans to show support
I just
and
have
love?
so much respect for my dad. Wasn't able to watch me on the show just because it's hard for him to see me on there, even though he's a fan of the show. But to see his daughter doing it, I think it was hard. So he couldn't see
Yeah.
me. He was able to watch, I think, after I left. But yeah, no, I've just for everyone's service and everything that they've done. I've just had so much respect for the military, and they've been likewise, like just reaching out to, and it's really wonderful to hear them appreciate this show showing that it's a different type of show. And so to be able to honor our military, whether it's in the UK or the US, or I feel that this show does show that, and it's really amazing.
1,000%, man. I view our military as like real life superheroes.
Oh yeah,
The
nothing like
sacrifices, the sacrifices and the mental and the physical part of it, like what they had to deal with for much more than 10 days.
yes.
I just can't imagine having to be away from my family for months and years and sleep in that environment and not have the good soul food that I get and just have my everyday needs. And yet you have these men and women who are out here fighting for our freedoms. I mean, it is truly amazing that how honorable our servicemen and women are. And the thing is, like, I've gone on USO tours. I've gone to Kuwait, Frankfurt to spend time with our troops. My foundation has been geared towards enhancing the lives of our troops and their support system. And every single time I've had a chat with them, they always say it is an honor to represent our country. And I'm like, what? Like, I can't even like understand that. Like, what? You're doing us a favor. But they see it as an honor, and like it just kind of speaks to like the personality and like the work ethic and their true core beliefs on how much America means to them.
It's so true, and how much respect they have for our country and how proud they are. It's amazing.
No doubt, no doubt. Wow, love our servicemen and women.
I do too.
So I'm a competitive person, as we probably know. Being an athlete, you kind of have to be competitive, and to a point where it's a sickness. So I'm gonna create a scenario for that you can take it wherever you want. If you had to choose whatever mission it was, so you got to choose a mission to compete against any DS on staff there, what would the competition be, and who would you compete against?
Really, you're asking me this question?
Yep. But you don't have to answer. You can pass if
A
you want.
mission, like I couldn't compete against any of them. They would.
What?
I mean, I would never survive competing against any of the DS unless it was like a makeup competition.
Okay, so we could take it there. It could be something where you're decorating
Oh my gosh.
a tank or something, or
Maybe I could do a cooking competition or a makeover competition. Anything physical as far as a mission, there's no way. I cannot compete with any of them.
okay. So this is what we're gonna call it. So we're out in the middle of, I don't know, some sketchy place in the middle of some third world country, and you are being hunted, but you have to eat. You don't have any food, and you got to make something. What you would probably be good at is being resourceful.
I
trying
could
to
be
figure
resourceful making something.
figure out what we should make to eat to get us through tonight, to move on, to give us energy to
I
move to the
still think
next.
they would have me beat on this.
Oh, come on. You gotta have some belief in yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm good with animals. Like, what if we went to a farm and we had to like keep the farm animals alive and milk the cows and feed them and bale the hay and stuff like that? I think I could do that.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay,
And
so
all
we
the
could
more
do
reason,
that.
and all the more reason to move to Tennessee because you can do all that.
Exactly.
You
I
can do all
want
that.
to,
So
for
there it is.
sure.
Okay. See, we're making some progress here.
We
Okay, we're
are.
making some progress. Okay, what celebrity would be great for TV but would get absolutely crushed doing this show?
Would get crushed or would crush it?
Would get crushed,
Would get crushed?
but we would love seeing like the personality and the dynamic of them being there.
I look at who could crush it.
That's going to be one of the questions here soon.
Okay. Who would, well, I can't say who would get crushed.
Okay, who would be entertaining to see, but you have reason to believe they probably wouldn't be very successful at completing this show? That's how we'll put it kindly.
Steven Tyler. He'd be awesome singing songs.
Okay.
I think he'd be great being in the camp and singing while we're all doing while everyone's doing their task. I think he'd be awesome.
Okay.
He'd be so entertaining to watch.
There it is.
I think he could kind of crush it though a little bit too.
Okay. Fair enough then. Fair enough. Okay. All
But I
right.
think he'd be entertaining to watch.
I'm sure he would. I can see that. Okay. So you got three celebrities. Pick three celebrities that you think that you'd vote to do special forces that you think would do well, and give me a reason why you think they'll do well.
Tom Cruise. I don't even know if I even need to say why, but
You don't.
okay. I think Brad Pitt could do a good job. He'd be
Okay.
nice to watch. I'm trying to think of a good woman that would be great. Well, actually, this is a man. I actually said this to him because I did an interview with Mario Lopez. I'm like,
Ooh.
when are you doing the show?
He'd be fun to watch.
I said, I know they've had to have asked you to do it. He'd be great.
I agree with that. That's a strong list right there. Very strong list.
I think Tom Cruise, though, would crush it more than anyone.
Yeah. I'm just not sure any of those guys would even do it though. I feel like they would
Well,
not.
I
want
think
to do
Tom
it.
Cruise is really busy with Mission Impossible.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
But
got some.
he would do a great job.
I agree. That would be some good TV right there. I mean,
It'd be
people would
awesome
absolutely
TV.
love to see that.
He could just be there by himself on the show with them.
Yeah. Exactly. Was there anything that a recruit or DS said that you just think about from time to time and just can't help but to giggle?
Oh, yeah. When we crawled out of the water, when we were dumped off the boat and had to do the push-ups to keep from us having hypothermia. At one point, I was doing push-ups and I put my knees down and Rudy called me Powder Puff. And so I couldn't help. I was going to start laughing and I'm like, oh, don't start laughing. You're going to get kicked out already. And don't do that yet.
Oh, that's Powder Puff.
Powder
Oh my
Puff.
gosh, that's
I don't know if
comedy.
they aired that, but he did call me Powder Puff when I was trying to do a push-up.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been fun to see. Gosh, should have shown it.
What about you?
Man, there was so much stuff that was said to me that I even probably missed some of it. But some of the quotes they had really stuck out to me that, wasn't necessarily funny, but some things that I applied to life. And one was like, inspect, don't expect. And that helped me take it back to home. When I was being tortured Oh, the last night, the interrogators was like, you're not a leader and your family, they don't miss you. They think you're a lousy husband and dad. And I almost laughed at him because I was like, dude, that's not even remotely truth. So I almost laughed at that. And then every time they call me for like pussyfooting, I just like would chuckle because I just think that's a funny word.
It's funny.
But
Who would you want to see? Like, who do you think would crush it?
I think Eric Decker, who is a receiver that was drafted with me that lives down the road here in Tennessee, would do well. I think he'd be fun to watch. Love to see him do it. Another person that I would love to see like one of my country music artist buddies do it. I love to see like Darius Rucker out there trying to do it, or even Cole Swindell, or maybe even more like Morgan Wallen would be. All those guys would be fun, and the ratings would go through the roof. I don't know how all of them would do, but it'd be funny to watch.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, and then if I could pick one lady to do it, I would pick like, man, I would honestly, this is what I think I would do. I would, because I would love to see like just the dynamic. I would pick Eric Decker to do it, and I would also pick his wife.
Oh, that'd be good.
Jesse James Decker to do it, just to see like them competing with or against each other, but also see the dynamic when like, you know, something were to happen. So that'd be fun, like a little couples type of thing. Like,
I think it would be fun to see a couple.
Yeah, you'd see some
Totally.
stuff probably too.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, there's no way they can cuddle on that one little cot, though. I'll tell you that. Ain't no way.
You can barely fit one person on there.
Right. But yeah, that would probably be my three.
Those are good.
Yeah. Is there anything you wish you would have snuck into the camp?
Snacks.
Yeah. Which ones?
Food. Well, shit. If I had my pick, I mean, I love Tostitos, guacamole, energy bars. I would have taken those.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a snacker. I graze. I could, anything. I would have taken anything in there, actually.
Yeah, I feel
We
you.
didn't have a lot of snacks there. Oh, and gum. I am a gum chewer. I love to chew gum. So the gum I think I would have loved to have taken too.
You probably could have gotten that in too, to think about it.
I think I could have snuck that shit in, but
Yeah, you could have gotten that in.
I think I was too scared to sneak anything in because they were like, you can only have it. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. I snuck in like a little daily devotional Bible, a letter from
that's nice.
a letter from my family that got ruined when they threw me in the water because I had it tucked in my sock. And then they had like 3 or 4 photos that ended up getting stuck together, but I was able to get them apart, and like it didn't matter. Like it wasn't their faces that got stuck together. So like maybe the sky was stuck and got ripped, but like their faces. And so I was able to always look back at those on the daily. I brought like a few pieces of paper in my like travel bag that I was able to keep a diary. So I was able to keep like the themes from each day and like the funny little quotes that, you know, I had seen or heard. And so I was super thankful that I didn't get busted completely. Like Q pulls in for the bear check, and then he was like, he goes through each of our little box, and he was like, he reads my diary, and he's like, what is this, number 9? And he reads some stuff, and I think I mentioned about how he kicked my tail the first day, and he says, number 9, you don't like me, do you? And I was like, no, I love you. I think you're great. Yes, Staff, I like you a lot. And he was like, okay, we're going to see how you think of me by the end of this. I'm like, ooh. But I was thankful that I didn't like completely poop on him and like talk some crap, because that would have been bad and awkward. Yeah.
I didn't know they would go through stuff that way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, hey, I've kept you for too long, and I probably could talk to you for another 2 hours.
No, me too. Thank you so much.
But I want to be respectful of your time. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to come on. And I am extremely excited to see your new reality show.
Thank you.
Because that's going to be how I'm going to get to know you a little bit better until you come to Nashville. And then
I'm going to let you know when we're there.
Yes, please, 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 please.
We'll have dinner with you and your wife. I would love that.
Absolutely. That's easy.
Love to see you guys. I'll let you know. It's soon. We're going to go there soon to look around, and then I'll let you know. I would love to see you guys.
Perfect. And if you send me some stuff that you want, that you think you have in mind of like what you think you would want in a home or space or land, like let me know, because I have some people who come across stuff all the time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we will be chatting again soon.
We will chat again soon. And thank you so much for having me back on after we were going to do it. So I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I'm excited.
All right. That is it for Showtime with Golden Tate. We had Denise come out and spend some time with us. And oh my gosh, a very packed full chatty going on.
Thank you.
You have a great one, and thank you so much. Until next time.
Thank you, Golden.
Of course. Miss you already.
I miss you too already.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Absolutely.